Hi, Tim.
Hello, Mac.
How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Okay, so we were talking.
Yeah.
If you racially give somebody a compliment about their big wiener, it can't even be considered racist.
It can't be racist because it's obvious, right?
Right.
So, like, as a brother, if you give me a compliment, it's a compliment because it is facts. Now, if I were to say something to you along the lines of, like, you having a big one, I'm tippy-toeing because I might actually be playing with your emotions.
You gassing me up?
I'm pumping you up. Pause. You know what I mean?
Oh, man. But, like, we're talking about, like, giving, like, saying Loups, saying,
What's up?
bro, David Newton, okay? My Asian homie.
Yep.
That dude was always in advanced math classes.
Yeah.
So if, through my own experience, and I say, yo, Asian people are pretty goddamn good at math. Like, am I being racist?
I mean, if you kind of get a little bit of context of like how Asian people kind of are, like, I mean, if you grow up like how we are, then there's some truth to it.
Loups, were you good at math?
I mean, yeah. Okay. Okay, I'm beating around the bush. Okay, there's maybe some truth behind it. Just because I'm good at math doesn't mean everyone else is.
Yeah.
I know plenty of cousins who don't know shit. All right? We just happen to be Asian.
Majority of you are good at math, though.
Yeah, but these Ivy League schools are having to scale up how hard it is for Asian people to get into them just because they are very advanced educationally.
Yeah, but they're still going to pass because they're just that much smarter than the rest of us.
That's racism, though, when you think of it, because it's like they can't help the fact that their bloodlines are very fucking wise and smart.
Well, remember when we had Mo in the group chat and Mo would constantly always talk about how Obi was the smartest Asian he knew just because Obi was Asian? It was one of those, and that was coming from a white man.
Yeah, that's a different, when white people speak out of ignorance, I don't jive with that at all. I like to actually have a pretty good sound reasoning behind
Correct.
it, if that makes sense.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? Like, through my experience, I've seen phenomenal Asian people who are really good at math.
That's true.
And they're also really good at backflips. And then
And Loups does both.
Loups does
I don't
both.
do backflips.
You could, though. You could do it way easier than my white ass.
I mean,
You're the better dancer of the three of us.
I would say I've been trained in dancing, but I can do backflips. Yeah.
Let's make a bet. I bet Loups could learn a backflip way quicker than me.
Let's do it.
I mean, I probably could.
I think you could.
No, we know you could.
I mean,
We'll set up pads and we'll do it off the stage.
So, like, if we did it like this, so, like, if they looked at all three of us, they would assume that you're probably a druggie between the three of us because that's how perception goes. They're going to assume that I can play basketball, which you're actually the better basketball player of the three of us, no offense. And they're going to say that Loups is probably the smartest and the better dancer.
And statistically, are they wrong?
They're actually not. I mean, I know a lot of white junkies.
And I know a lot of really good black basketball
You got to watch
players.
your mouth. You see how I can say it with no problem, but he had to watch himself when he said
is
it?
that racist then? Are you racist?
That's the thing, though, is like that's where the line has been so clouded out where we've kind of lost our mind.
We have.
And we were talking last week about cancel culture, and there needs to be a line drawn in the sand.
Yeah.
And it needs to be drawn in concrete because now people are, as ignorance runs as high as ever because of the politicians we have in power, that has caused the Moes of the world where they think they can get away with saying clearly ignorant things. I'm not even going to throw around the R card. I'm just going to say ignorance. But unfortunately, so many people will throw out the R card, and it's like, it might just be ignorance, where this dude just clearly is from a small town, just clearly does not have a clue.
No, and that's the same people that are throwing out the ignorance when it came time to like talking about like the halftime show.
Mm-hmm.
Like the people that would find a way to make it bigger than what it actually was. It was two awesome performers performing. That's all it came down to. The simple fact that you can incorporate something about the fact that they're shaking their butts, or you're just you're majoring in the minors on something that really, And then also the fact where people start focusing more on the fact that Jay-Z and Beyonce were sitting down versus standing for the anthem. Come on, man. You know what I mean? But that's the moles of the world.
Yeah.
And in most cases, the moles of the world, no offense, are white people. Because Loups and I really don't get away with doing stuff like that. We get canceled instantly.
Yeah, we would. It'd be totally different. It'd be like anyone else in that halftime show too. So you probably get the same kind of criticism. Like, where was this before?
Like
now's
Adam
the time.
Levine was making out with the floor last year, and he was shirtless. And I mean, was he not? I mean, the stuff that he was doing last year at the halftime show, I'm sitting there wondering, that got swept under the rug. I mean, they're 50 and 43 shaking their butts. A lot of it in my eyes was jealousy.
Well, that's a given because let's be honest, look at the bodies of the Karens that were complaining.
The Karens.
The complainer Karens with their haircuts. You already know they were working with some turkey bottoms. Let's just say they don't even know how to spell squat.
Bro,
They spell it with a SKW.
pancake booties.
Pancake booties.
Pancake booty.
Yeah, dude. Straight up. There ain't no orange peels involved. You know what I'm saying, dude?
But you talking about your aunties and stuff, though, bro. That's disrespectful on your behalf.
Yeah, but
It's facts.
that's the thing is that's where I will draw the line. I don't care if I have ignorant family members.
You check them.
I don't care.
No, but you check them. Like, if you do you check them?
I disconnect. Thankfully, my family is no. My
Your family's dope.
We've got Asian in our family, Black in our family, Native in our family. Go down the list. Yeah, a lot of races in our family, and so it's all love.
What about your friends, though? Like, what about, because, like, your friends, if you have really close friends, do you check your close friends?
I am very lucky. I am so lucky to have audited my way out of those friends groups. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah. I know.
So,
what you
like,
mean.
I don't even, bringing up that example, I can't even think of one in my circle. I can't even think of one. But I've done the work to get rid of those people because, yes, and, like, say, take it back to that point, I probably just cut them off and didn't even check them at the time. Might have checked them personally at some point. But it gets to the point where there was a time where, I'm not going to say his name, I graduated with him, blonde hair, blue-eyed dude, big boy, country type, you know? Let's say he likes to wear a lot of camouflage and say the N-word. What I did, you know what I did on his little dick souped up F-350? You know what I did one night?
Peed in the tank?
I pissed on his rims.
Ooh.
His brand new 24-inch rims, I pissed on them.
Ooh.
Hey,
Yeah, I pissed on them.
you
Yep.
did that for the culture.
I did it. You want to know how I took one for the team there? Because he drove me there, and I didn't get a ride home because I pissed on his rim. So I walked my ass home.
As you should.
So he was dropping the N-bomb, and I finally had enough of it. And so I pissed on his rims, and then he wouldn't give me a ride home. I said, "See you later. Bye, Felicia. I'm gone."
You want to know something? Some of those people are uncheckable, though, because no matter what you do, they're still going to be the same way. And it's one of those things where, and I know, Loups, you probably have ran into stuff like this before, too, where,
Oh, hell yeah, dude. Like, high school, like, was...
because you're from a small town, aren't you?
Yeah, small town. The epitome of that shit goes down all the time. And I had my fair share to know that, yeah, I'm a dip.
Yeah.
But there's nothing worse than when it's on a larger scale now. So, like, now when it's a larger scale and people are doing it, you're kind of going, because truthfully, you will lose sleep trying to check some of these people because it's not going to get you anywhere. Their minds are made. I mean, like, and you and I personally know, I mean, we've dealt with a bunch of this stuff before. We're just kind of like, hey, you know what? We're just going to keep this thing moving.
I've been locked up fighting racism. I'll never forget it, man. And this is something where I regret it, but at the same time, I regret the physicality of it. I don't regret the stance I took. And this was during the Olympics. Dwayne Wade was on ESPN. Myself and two friends, after a long night, you know, we were back at my place. I had some roommates. We were watching ESPN. Dwayne Wade's on the TV. And my roommates come home. And they wouldn't stop saying the N-word. It was specifically my roommate's friend who wouldn't stop saying the N-word. My friend Kevin told them to stop. We gave them one more chance, and he kept saying it. And then finally, World War III broke out, and they both ended up in the hospital. and I got a probation violation out of the deal through an assault, and ended up locked up. But the thing is like, that's a word that ain't in my vocabulary. And obviously we let all of our homies let it fly if they have the right because of their skin color. But that does not fly when it's coming out of a white person's mouth. And there is no place for it. When you think of our leaders, now I look at LeBron James as more of a leader than our president. You get my drift?
I agree.
Culturally, he is able to sway way more. Jay-Z, same thing. Jay-Z culturally, what he's doing with his pocketbook to pay Lil Wayne's taxes and to also bail out Meek.
21 Savage.
21 Savage.
Nipsey, rest his soul.
Getting 21 Savage international lawyers so he's not shipped out. Things like that. That's making a difference culturally. And when people who are just based out of ignorance, coming from small towns, and they just continuously let that fly, that's their all they know. They have no other understanding. And there does come a time and a place where it's no longer fighting that ignorance with love. Sometimes it's going to take you ending up in the hospital to understand, because way too many black people were getting drugged by their ankles behind trucks in the deep South before cameras and back when sheriffs were just as racist. You know what I'm saying? So the bloodshed on racists nowadays doesn't even tip over the scale from what minorities have had to deal with, the Japanese in internment camps within this country back in the day, within this country. That shit's ignorance, so like, who's going to check them? Because Loups, one of the first nights I met you, you came up to Lincoln Drink. Do you remember that conversation we had while we were all out eating tacos?
A little bit. I remember you were like trying to find the place and you just took a left turn, you found it. But I remember how you felt about people in Rochester and how their mindset doesn't really fit for like the general public, stuff like that. It's been a while.
The white man is their own worst enemy. The white man. And the white man is the only one. We're the final check that will finally get minorities over the hump to be okay. You get my drift? White people need to get rid of that suppression of all that negativity and that racism. They need to excrete it out completely and understand completely, totally, that minorities need our voice as well. But it's also up to minorities to understand that with them being the voiceless, allow the woke white people to have your back. Because I understand in so many circumstances you're voiceless.
And you're 100% right. And then the hardest thing now, though, is once we get the approval from the white person, as a minority, I feel like then we do it to ourselves. And then all of a sudden you have within, and then it's one of those things where it's just, we can never get over that hurdle, because the moment that we actually get it from the white man, and then you watch another minority knock down another minority, and you tell yourself, are we ever going to go ahead and surpass? Because if it keeps going like this, we're never going to win. And so, I mean, like, that's where it's just, I mean, you probably overheard the Gayle King interview with Lisa Leslie. Her as African-American female, once again, I don't care who you are, what your status is, the moment that you want to bring that stuff up, all you did right there was you instantly took us from going here to going right back down here. And so, like, I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but it's like she had an interview with Lisa Leslie, who played WNBA basketball for the Sparks, and they were talking about Kobe, and then she wants to bring up, is his legacy tarnished because of what happened back in 2003 with the allegations? And then Lisa Leslie's like, no, I mean, you guys had all these years to get that stuff cleared up. I don't believe so. I mean, when he was here, you guys could have cleared that stuff up. And she goes, well, isn't it safe to say that that's something that, even though it was swept under, even though it went to court, it was dismissed, do you still feel like that's something that, stop, let it go. It's been 17 years. And so, but then that's where African Americans are doing it to ourselves, because you're going, at what point in time are you going to be able to move on?
she's tailoring to and catering to a narrative.
To a narrative.
Where as a media journalist, I'm going to use air quotes, as a media journalist, you're setting your own culture back, and you're doing it for a white man who has an agenda. Because let's be honest, the owners of these networks are white men, old white men. So, like, which side of the fence are you going to be on? You know what I'm saying? And that's a dangerous place to be. And as a white person who sees that shit, like, how am I? The culture needs to check her because I'm not in a position to be able to check her culturally. You know what I'm saying? All the while, I feel, and per our conversation that night at the taco joint, it's up to white people to check other white people when they're eating their own tail. And that's what gets us into cancel culture. Don't be the spokesperson for minorities. Speak with minorities.
Exactly.
And there's a big difference there, because there are white people who are trying to step up to the plate and speak for minorities. You're not speaking for minorities. You have to speak with them. You have to speak the same language. And that's why I think keeping white people in check so they don't eat the same tail for all of culture to get out of their own way. And that's why, like, I really like to tap into who the white people that Jay-Z associates with.
Correct.
So Jay-Z is a very introspective, spiritually conscious human being. And the white dudes that he surrounds himself with, he pinpoints and he knows them. And he won't just associate with any white person. And I think that's a power move. When you're Jay-Z, when you're a billionaire and you're a power couple, you can do that. Because too often, rappers, for instance, who are in that position, they have to, in a nutshell, be enslaved to the white man who's corporatized them.
Correct.
You get my drift?
Correct.
They will always only eat if the white man says it's time to chow down.
Yeah.
And that's anti-power. So when you have the LeBron James of the world, LeBron just kept his same crew, and he can pick and choose what white devil he wants to operate with.
And that's power. And he put his boys in positions of power as well. And that's one of those things where, I mean, he's controlled this whole narrative, exactly what you were talking about. Because like LeBron, I mean, like he said, he's going to have those white people with him, but when it comes down to it, he's having those closed-door meetings. Yeah, they're going to give him advice, but he's making the decisions. And that's where it's like, that's how Jay-Z operates. You know, because like when something happens, you know it's Jay-Z.
And let's not get it twisted. It's always good to have a Jewish person in your corner, too.
At all times. Always.
All times.
Ask OJ.
Straight up.
Yeah.
Bro, that's a power move. If you got a powerful Jewish person in your corner, that's a power move.
What makes you say that?
Well, Jewish people are very tapped in regards to entertainment. Very tapped in. And
wealthy.
Well, and that's the thing. No, it goes back to what we were talking about: Asian people, math, black people, athletics, white people talking too much. No, but Jewish people, they've brought us Hollywood.
Yeah,
very good attorneys, running Wall Street. You know what I'm saying? Let's not get it twisted. I know where my bread is buttered.
Yeah, and once again, I mean, with Jewish people, with the stuff that they had dealt with, that's another thing as well too, where it's just like I personally feel like we owe so much to them just because of what happened. And so like it's one of those things where that's kind of where when you tie in black people, it's the same thing. Like he said,
Bob Marley did. Zion, baby.
The list goes on.
He knew where his bread was buttered. And actually, R.I.P. to Bob Marley. It was just his birthday, I believe. When you know your history, you can also know who you should associate with. And, dude, there's something about Jewish people's personalities. Like last week we talked about Ari Shafir, okay? He had this web series called the something about racist Jew or some shit like that. And he's always kind of like tipped his hat on that and hung it on like, oh, I am this, so I can say all this. And it's like, no, it doesn't fly like that. But on the flip side, a week later, when you really associate with Jewish people, they are some of the most well thought out. They approach life. Many of them approach life like a chess game. And I grab so much from that. And I think in entertainment nowadays, with it being so saturated, we all can take something from how they operate in business and kind of bring that into how we operate in media, where we need to operate it like a chess game more so than checkers. You know, I love it, dude. I love Jewish people. I love their noses. I love their dark hair. I love their olive skin. There's nothing more I love than the Instagram models that are continuously looking like Kim Kardashian. I just love it.
Timmy, what's with that face?
He's never said this before.
Oh,
He's never said a word about Jewish people, so I didn't know he was infatuated with them until right now.
No, I really, I think that people, so people who have had, we talked about why you might be scared of dogs last week. It might be in your genetic makeup, you know, due to past trauma in your bloodline. That is the same for Jewish people. They did, you know, that study I talk about where our genetic memory and it gets switched on. And even successful Jewish people still had heightened cortisol levels. And we're talking they weren't born during their grandparents surviving the Holocaust, going through that highly traumatic event. Why are these people who are on the surface very successful in media as lawyers or whatever that may be, why are they still having heightened stress levels? And then they did this long study and they came to the realization that, holy shit, our genetic makeup has memory and it got switched on in you. And that's something we need to be uber aware with when we're talking about healing people whose ancestors were slaves, healing people whose ancestors were in wars, were in internment camps.
I think that ties in with all of us, though, because that's kind of where your makeup, and we always talk about that, where you are the way you are. You talked about like your ancestors and the things that they did and how they help people, because now you fast forward to you being here right now, you do the exact same thing. And a guy like you, like Loups, I really feel like the person that you've become is probably due to the fact that whether it's your ancestors, your parents, and the list goes on.
I'm not afraid of the tough conversation. And I think that's what you'll learn with me is it's okay to talk about ignorance, but it all depends what kind of light you're trying to shed on it. You know what I'm saying? We shouldn't shy away from tough conversations because that's what's got us in this weird position now where people don't even know how to communicate.
So speaking of tough conversations, so I mean, like with the amount of people that are on the journey of trying to, whether it's reinvent themselves or become something, how do you look at somebody and tell them, hey, you know what, that might not be the move for you? Because that's a tough conversation, but at the same time, like you don't want to be the person to derail anybody.
Well, I mean, are people ready to be practical with their life or not? If the majority are not, and that's okay, and you're going to hurt feelings, but you just got to come from a place of love. And brutal honesty doesn't always have to be as brutal as people make it out to be.
Correct. Well, because like we talk about podcasting, and it's one of those things where the amount of people now that are coming out the woodworks wanting to do podcasting, and then it's a conversation you have to say, hey, you know what? Is this something that you're going to be able to commit to? Because like we said, it's a baby. It's a newborn. It's one of those things where it just doesn't happen, you know, and there's a lot that goes into it. So, I mean, like Loups, I mean, you know for a fact, and then obviously you and I know. So it's one of those things where, I mean, you don't want to look at somebody in the eye and straight up tell them, hey, you know what, this might not be the move for you. And even outside of podcasting, anything else, you know, but like at the same time, who are we to tell somebody what they're able to do and what they're not able to do?
Which is why you don't give it away free right away. So when you look them in the eyes and you ask, okay, are you ready to have a child with you and your co-host? Because that's what it's going to turn into. You make them invest early on. When you make them invest early on, they are financially invested in this idea that they have. And there's this switch that flips when people are invested in something, then they actually want to cultivate ideas and 10x those. And they really want to bring them to fruition. That's with logo designs. That's with their branding throughout the episodes. How they really want to market themselves because they're invested. When you start giving people things for free, they're not as invested. Chances are good they're going to fail.
No, that's 100% right. And that's where, like, with the amount of people that I listen to now, like I listen to this guy that I know, and he's always talking about writing things down. So, like, with anybody that's trying to start anything, legitimately, write down not only your first day, write down your second day, your third month, your 6th month, where you plan to be at a year from now. Because I think a lot of times people just lose sight of the fact that it just doesn't happen right away. And I mean, if you realistically have the vision for it, and like you said, whether it's like a co-host, because in most cases, some people think like, oh, we're the perfect co-host, we're the perfect team, we're the perfect duo, and then you roll into a third episode and they're ready to pull each other's hairs out.
They just don't, and that's
unbelievable.
well, and that's why I like diversity with all my partners.
You have to.
You know what I'm saying? I love it. When you have my mom, I know I talk about this book quite a bit, but my mom gave me this book. We're talking early 2000s. I was still in middle school. It was called The 5 Dysfunctions of a Team. And it was all about partnering up with people whose minds work differently than yours. Mm-hmm. That's how you get shit done. Mm-hmm. Why would I want 8 other people working with me who operate the same way I do?
And look like you.
And look like me.
Smell like you.
Dude, then we get branded.
Yeah.
Then we get branded as the Great White Hope, and we don't need that.
The KKK.
Yo, ease up.
I'm just saying, bro.
Triple potassium.
I'm just saying, man.
Lack of sunlight. Get that man some vitamin D.
But you saying that, though, it makes a lot of sense because, like, the 3 of us, we're all from different heritages and nationalities, and it just works. And it's one of those things where, like, truthfully, if it was 8 of you or 8 of you or 8 of me, I don't know if it'd be as smooth as it is right now because in situations like that, you just have people that are just essentially become yes men. You know what I mean? And I feel like over here, it's like people credit people for what their strengths and what their weaknesses are. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like you're not seeing you and I doing what Loups does.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
we're not doing math.
I like a production role, and that's kind of how I've always looked at myself in regards to sound engineering as well. I was always the one who was tapping into culture from the coast and then bringing those to my engineers, and that's how we would create sound. You know what I'm saying? So we would never copycat. We would just tap into influence. Mm-hmm. And I think I see a lot of videographers doing that as well. Right. Because, you know, as much smack as people talk about TikTok, TikTok is where really good video editors can go shine. I love it. And go follow Loups on TikTok. Loups, what's your TikTok?
It's at Ryan Loups. It's my universal tag for everything.
Loups. Loups, and we call him Loups. That's his nickname. So, Loups, you ready for a jam, dude?
Oh, jam.
Let's figure out which one it is.
What are we jamming to?
What are we jamming to?
That's not it.
That kind of sucks because I can't hear it.
Oh, we can't hear.
Dude, oh, you're out of luck. I can't dance.
He ain't got headphones on.
Monkey can't dance.
Damn,
That's
dude.
okay. I didn't stretch anyway.
Hey, I'm on TikTok too, at Timnella, Timnela. I am.
Yeah.
I know you are. Give away your TikTok, man.
Stationary astronaut, baby.
Yeah, catch him doing the renegade.
Catch us doing the renegade.
We should do a video of us 3 trying to do the renegade.
The renegade? I don't know, man. Like, honestly,
what
TikTok,
are you saying?
Like, I'm not discouraging that we can't dance. I'm just saying TikTok moves fast. Like, in terms of trends, the renegade was like 6 months ago. Hell, the trends yesterday could be yesterday.
So what's the newest? What's the trend right now?
I don't know. They're doing. You just have to look. I think it's really easy to find whatever trend is on there.
We got to do something. The 3 of us got to do something.
There's some crazy ass editors on there now. Like they had this one trend where they're having like a lobby, a game lobby, where characters like fighting characters show up. It's like, oh, 24th out of 100 players have joined the lobby, and this dude comes in with an Iron Man suit, flies in, appears, and starts shooting lasers. Because the dude knows how to do video editing. It's wild.
On TikTok. Because, like, so...
He's obviously editing that in his own software, correct?
Yeah. So it's like you have to be doing...
Because that thing has gotten so advanced because, crazy as it is, I had a TikTok when it was Musical.ly. And all I did was lay in bed in the middle of the night and I was singing. Right? You throwing gang signs?
There's this one where you do this sign and then it'll take a really quick picture, so you have to position yourself, and then you throw like a peace sign, and then you have to position yourself, and then people will do it so like the 3 pictures look like something.
This is way too advanced for me.
Yeah, and that's a trend going on right now. Bro, TikTok is on another level, dude. It's just TikTok, you have to be so so forward thinking, it's not even funny with how unique some of these people's videos are. But then you have like, I like to go on there and see quick clips of podcasts, micro content of podcasts where it's like you just hit us with the funny clip from your episode, and then that's getting you clout.
So should we channel more into TikTok then?
Oh, that's for sure where we're going to be pushing a bunch of our micro content.
But now is that so? It's obviously on the up and up because like the thing is how trends go with everything. What's the longevity of TikTok? Because I mean, like, because who saw this coming?
I think the sky's the limit of TikTok because of the editing potential. What do you think, Loups?
I think it could. Right now, it's like still in its baby stage, so you can literally do anything. You don't have to worry about algorithms. You literally just worry about content. In terms of the future with TikTok and like editing, the sky really is the limit because people are smart enough to have Adobe software or whatever, Final Cut, to do the crazy edits that you can't do otherwise on TikTok. That's how you become different than the general public.
I just hope TikTok doesn't take the same approach that everyone else does and try to switch things up, and then all of a sudden it just becomes like, meh. You know what I mean? Like,
TikTok, do not sell out to Mark Zuckerberg.
Please do not
Hold
sell
out. Whatever you do not sell out to Marky Z.
Because you guys are the wave right now, and I don't want you to end up being like Snapchat. And
Are we good over here?
Oh, yeah. We're hella good everywhere.
I just thought we had a 29-minute limit, so I wasn't sure, dude.
Man, I took a look. It was good.
You took a look, dude? You took a gander, did you, there, bud?
see, is that racist?
That racist?
See, like, that's like me saying our own version of N-bombs. Like, if I talk like a Minnesotan, don't you know, there, bud?
Speaking of Minnesota, I see you guys got D'Angelo Russell.
Yeah, so we got
was that
D-Lo.
white?
I don't give a shit.
Was that white enough?
To be honest, Tim, every time you speak, you sound white.
See that? Is that
Same.
racist?
I'm.
Can he say that to me?
I mean, I've been told that too. Like, they'd be like on Xbox Live, like, yo, who's this white guy? Damn, you sound really white boy. I'm like, oh.
Well, see, like Xbox Live, people say whatever they want on Xbox Live.
Yeah.
You, if I didn't know you, you do sound.
Yeah, like people don't know what I look like right now on this podcast. So they'd be like, wow, this dude's really white.
Oh, that's so true.
But we just stated I'm Asian, so they can use their imagination.
And we told him you're good at math. So if the moment we said you were good at math, they figured you were Asian.
Okay, we're jumping all over the place. Okay, so D'Angelo Russell is here in Minnesota now. The funny thing is he got off the jet carrying a handy cam, and it's like, D-Lo, it got you in trouble with Nick Young and Iggy Azalea. Put the goddamn camera away, bro. Put it away, dude.
But first and foremost, man, if I landed in Minnesota for the first time, I'm going to do the exact same thing he's doing, bro. He probably never seen snow. Matter of fact, no, he played for Ohio State. So, yeah.
Maybe.
I'm defend. See, this is another thing black people do. We defend each other at all times. At all times.
Yeah.
So what you just did there, I got to defend him. It's just a code.
Well, here's the thing, though. As a player, though, I don't think he wants to talk like he's got and showboat like he's got ice in his veins. It's like, okay, take your team to the playoffs and then.
He did last year.
Yeah, but take them to the playoffs and then show us you got ice in your veins. You know what I'm saying? Be that dog.
Hold on. So you're not happy with this? You're not happy with this?
Well, we're going to watch Andrew Wiggins go to Golden State and shine. We needed to get out of that contract. Thing is D-Lo's it was a sign and trade, so he's got a high contract too. With him, I'm a Russell Westbrook and Derrick Rose truther. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Those are my guys. Mm-hmm. Why is that? Because of their heart. And when you got D-Lo, it's like, okay, cool, bro. You can shoot, distribute a little bit. But I don't like the fact that, like, Karl Anthony Towns, our staple, our cornerstone, is using this as a reason to get fired up. It's like, dude, you should have been a competitor in the first place and been fired up with the team you got.
You were a first overall pick. You should have been fired up from day one.
You know what I'm saying? You can't use, oh, now my friend is on the team, so now I'm fired up. It doesn't work like that, dude. You're a professional basketball player. Show up to the fucking dance every single night, dude.
But that goes for a lot of people, though, man. That's just how it is, man.
Well, and that's the culture we live in right now where these cats are just, and pun intended, I guess, these cats are just like, they pick and choose when they want to be a grinder. And that ain't how the world works. It's just not reality. Whether you got millions in the bank or not, that shit flakes off because it's your legacy that's going to be who you really are when it's all said and done. It's not going to be like your numbers nowadays in the NBA. Numbers are going up left and right. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I don't look at you as a 30-15 guy and say, okay, cool, man, you're going to be one of the best basketball players ever. I don't care if like every year we're seeing, oh, he's the third person to ever do this. The only other two is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Wilt Chamberlain. I don't care, dude. Those are some surface stats that ain't going to hold their own because the game has changed. So those alone, you can't even, he wasn't even on an all NBA team last year, right?
Yeah.
And then this year, he's not even an all-star.
Yeah.
So it's like, Kat, do you really know what it takes? Because I'm sorry, just being a 7-footer where a third to 40% of your shots are all three-pointers, bro, you're a stretch 4. You're a Kevin Love.
Yeah.
That's what you are. And I'm sorry if I'm preaching to the choir right now, but like I got in a fight on stage with Gary Vee about this.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's something that I do lose sleep about it sometimes. So like a piece of me, and I hate to say this because he's our franchise cornerstone. I want him to fail. I want him to get out of town. Here's the deal though. I want to be right. Egotistically, I want to be right.
Can't say you want him to fail.
I don't think he's all that in a bag of potato chips, yo.
So would you trade him to Phoenix for Ayton head up, straight up? So he could be with his boy Booker?
Ooh, shit. Maybe some picks. So like,
well, yeah, I mean, yeah, but
I would, because then we got our actual 5. So I wouldn't do it straight up. It would take a little bit more, but I would almost do that. And then if we could just, honestly, I would offload D'Angelo Russell and Karl Anthony Towns for DeAndre Ayton and the farm for every other one of their first round picks for the next like 8 years.
It'd be like the Minnesota Suns type stuff.
Bro, that would be awesome. Because Karl Anthony Towns, as much as I have hope for him and how much I wanted him to succeed, I think we need to scale back on his potential.
Well, it all boils down to heart, though. I mean, everything that you said is all about heart, and that's what it comes down to. I mean, for anything, you want people that have heart. You want people that want to be there. And a guy like him, it just seems like he doesn't want to be there. And so, I mean, when you got a person that doesn't want to be there, then I can perform. That's all it boils down to.
Yeah, boys. I mean, do you like basketball, Loups?
I am not into basketball or sports, but I do feel for when people don't really grind when you need to grind. Like in the dance world, that's my biggest pet peeve. And it really shows, because if you don't show that fire, then no one's going to work with you.
Yeah.
Like I personally don't want to work with you. If you're lazy in dance practice, I ain't going to work with you. If you're just lazy in dance workshops or performance videos, I'm not going to work with you. So in that sense, I can relate, even if I'm not a basketball fan.
And dancers, break dancers especially, I've seen like those, you can just see the work ethic.
Yep.
You can just tell that person has put in their hours.
Yeah.
And you don't get there without putting in the hours.
So do you guys like work out then too? Do you guys go to the gym type stuff, or do you guys just go somewhere and just dance?
Well, in terms of like physical training, it's more like, like train specific, like that term. It's like that. It helps to go weightlift and do all of that.
Or cardio.
Cardio is universal, I would say. Like that helps with your body. Dancers, there's some who do go work out, but a lot of the fitness comes in the dancing itself, because you're just training your body to dance. There are, like old school dance moves or old school dance styles, crump.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that, yeah, sure. So that.
Yeah, he just played me.
He's
so sure.
So that is a very rigorous dance, like break dancing. It does help to work out, and people who do these things, it can excel in some way or form. Kind of like reading a book. Like if you have knowledge from some sort of book or teacher, you can apply that to anything.
Yeah. Well, so I take it back. So anytime I talk about working out, I'm talking about cardio, just training in general, because it's one of those things where, and you've gotten big on it now, because the people that don't train, that's where I feel like work ethic comes from. And so it's like, even if it's not weightlifting, I mean, like we talked about cardio or just practicing, that's where work ethic comes. That's where you get the Joel Embiid's, and then the Karl Anthony Towns. You know, and
Even JoJo's been slipping lately. That dude has got such a millennial mind state, it seems like, where he picks and chooses when he wants to be a dog.
But once again, though, I mean, I think it all just boils down to the amount of stuff that they have in front of them now. I mean, like, you're not going a meeting, a training session without staring at your phone. You know what I mean? Like, the distractions are through the roof now. Back then, it was just a situation where you just played ball. You just trained. You had no excuses. Not defending him. Once again, it's like me always defending the black guy, but it's just one of those things where that's how I view it.
I think from a white dude perspective, JJ Redick.
Oh, my gosh.
He's got that. He's like the last of a dying breed when it comes to. He's got that dog mentality, and he gets on his teammates, and he expects greatness out of you. He expects a high pursuit work ethic.
You heard his quote, didn't you?
What was it again?
His quote exactly. I mean, I don't got it verbatim, but he was saying the problem with a lot of these players nowadays is they're stuck on their phones.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, they're constantly on social media. They're more worried about waking up in the morning and seeing how many likes and how many views they got than they do about working. And he straight up said that. And so the fact that you just brought his name up, that's crazy because that's exactly how he's lasted the way he's lasted in the NBA. He first came in the league coming out of college. You and I both knew him.
He got a DUI right away, too.
Yeah, but during college, remember how he was? He was a shooter. He went to Duke. Clean. I mean, no tattoos, no nothing. You know what I mean?
Just a whole bunch of back knee. Whole bunch of backacne. Backacne.
Bro.
He had that BDE before BDE was even invented.
What is BDE?
Big dick
hey,
energy.
yo, dog. Fam. Yo,
What, dog?
yo, bro, we about to have some beef.
What,
bro.
dude? Long Dong Looper song was in the building.
Yeah, did you forget? Disrespect?
I'm going to tell you right now, bro.
Yo, dude, pay that man his respect.
I'm not paying nobody no long dong.
Long Dong Looper song. Dude,
Is that his name?
he earned it. Yes.
King Kong Long Dong?
Whoa.
Oh, come on. What do you mean? King Kong's big. Oh, y'all trying to do this? Nah, see, y'all,
King Kong Looper song.
y'all ain't going to do this to me, man.
All right, dude. All right, Timmy Nella. Timmy Boomtown Nella.
No.
That man's got some boom in him.
What does that even mean?
Yeah, dude. I'm Mushroom Mac, and you're and you're fucking Boomtown Nella. You know what? It was really disappointing last week when we were talking with. We were talking about what would Jan's porn name be, and we had it the whole time. What's his Instagram handle?
Oh, Black Coffee Poppy.
Jinx. Huh?
That's his porn name. Black Coffee Poppy, dude.
Yeah.
I texted him afterwards. I was like, Jan, we had it the whole time, and we couldn't come up with it. So, yeah, that shit happened. Do you guys have any other, like, current events or anything going down? We already talked about, what's her name? Gail King. What was her name? Gail what?
Gail King.
Gail King, man.
Gail King, Sean King, any of those people with Kings, man, I question them, man. I don't know what's going on with them. Yeah, anything with King. King Jong. anything with
King.
anything with King, I'm worried
Man,
about.
with Sean King, he's a perfect example of a 2 steps forward, 3 steps back type of person.
He's a perfect example of what's that, double Dutch? When you're like, you hop in, hop out, hop in, hop.
Yeah.
I don't know what side of the fence he's on because there's certain days where he's the biggest activist and there's certain days where he'll post something else. Because I think he actually posted something about Kobe related too, but I didn't catch it. But I'm going, what is up with this dude, man? Like, whose side are you on? You got to pick your poison, man. What's it going to be?
Yeah, I think even just picking sides is dangerous where it's like float down the middle, be practical, be a realist. There are going to be people, because, you know, with consulting, right? Mm-hmm. There are people who just can't handle the storm. And the storm is being honest.
Reality.
When I roll into a meeting, it's my duty to be practical and honest with you. If you can't handle it, I'm sorry, Gina, or I'm sorry, Daryl. Throwing out fantastical names here, but I'm sorry that you can't handle me being honest with you. We suffer from people who don't understand. It's not everyone's going to find their purpose, but we are suffering from people not knowing who the hell they are. You get my drift? Mm-hmm. So there are people who I believe that I am a public figure. I believe that I'm a public speaker. Jack, I'm sorry, you might not be, but you might be a really good showrunner. You might be someone who's really good at running spreadsheets, figuring out budgets and things like that. You might be someone who's really good at something other than public speaking.
Correct.
Let's not get it twisted. Don't jump in with the sharks if you ain't ready for it, Jack. And that's a reality that many aren't ready to hear. So you got to let them, well, one, they're too prideful. They're not even going to ask for your help. They're not, like these rappers nowadays, local rappers need consultants. I'm looking in the camera. Local rappers need consultants. You need to send all your tapes you shouldn't be releasing. Send them over to Mushroom Mac. I'll give them a listen for free. I will consult you. I will tell you
For free?
for free.
Ooh.
For free. Where you need to get better. You need to turn this off, turn this up. You need to add overdubs over here. Take these overdubs out. You need to redo these ones. Your mix is off. I will do it for you for free. And I will get it ready for release. Because we're putting on shows, and when I do a public call out, it's a mistake for me to say, hey, I need a local act to open up for someone we're bringing in, because then I'm hurting feelings and I'm actually burning bridges.
Why did you do that?
I shouldn't have done
Why
that.
did you? That's not even
So
you.
stupid.
The moment you did that, I'm like, I wanted to FaceTime you and be like, what did you just do?
I know. So to put it into perspective, Loups, did you see that? Okay, so we booked Cashing Over, right?
Yep.
And I already added Treasy, and I wanted to add on maybe one more, along with one other one who's a traveling act we might add on. And I want someone who can come in, maybe sell some tickets, who can provide value to the show.
Sell some merch.
But here's the deal. I didn't add in that, and I should have. You have to have a project. You need to be marketable. You need to actually have a campaign to go along with that project. Because nowadays, I don't fuck with anybody if they don't actually have a marketing campaign to go along with a project.
Mm-hmm.
Because let's be honest, you have to operate like a professional before you're a professional.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to. In today's day and age, saturated market, go down the line. So those are things I should have added in. And then I just started getting tagged up in direct messages. And I got blown up for till like 9 o'clock last night. People who want to get on the docket. People sending me links. Hey, man, check this out. Dude, this is a shitty produced music video. And you did one verse, 2 choruses, and it's 1:20 long. And that's all you got? That's your documented work? And you want to get on a paid show? Like, come on, Jack. You got to earn your way. But the thing is like, I got to give them props for taking their shot. But when I had Prof here last year, it was the day before, and I got local cats trying to get on the show. It's like, do you understand how this game works? Do you understand how this game works? First off, send me your portfolio. Send me your proof. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
So you want to just get up here and you think you've earned the right? And I don't have it in me to tell them, quit being a joker right now. I just say, hey, maybe next time. And that's where, like, I have to do my own work too, in regards to like not being brutally honest at times. And that's kind of like, I use that as a check to where I be too nice to my friends who are artists, where it's like cause bro, with one of my boys, he sent me his stuff pre-release and I had to get real with him. I said, there's a couple instances, 2 of the songs where it's like, bro, this, just take it out. Ain't gonna work, dude. You're not painting a picture. You literally just bored me. And when you bore me and you don't use metaphor, then you wasted my time. So I get real with them. And that's where it's people who are full frontal cortex, they're not ready to hear it. And that's a tough place to be as a friend, because it's like, oh, you want to open up for the top hip hop musician in the state? What have you done to earn it, bro? Send me your shit so you can set your ego aside. I can dissect it. We can work on it, maybe an EP, LP, whatever the fuck, 5 songs. We can get it well produced. You invest in yourself, invest in a marketing campaign. We're not going to do the marketing for free, but we'll run a marketing campaign for you, and we'll see to it that you have momentum built. And then we'll get you some local shows, though a few of them will be unpaid. But let's work on this. Give us 6 months, give us 8 months, give us a year, and we'll get you there. But you have to earn it. People just think that because everyone's so accessible nowadays, they can just get to the creme before they fucking earned it. And that's a shitty place to be. As a promoter, as a business owner, as someone who's doing things, who's trying to propel a movement and culture, bro, not everybody deserves the shine.
But you want to know something? That's exactly what we talked about the other day when we talked about the fact that people want to just celebrate way too early. And that's exactly what it is. Some of these people, like, they'll drop something and they'll record it in the studio and they don't have the right editing. They don't have the right sound bites. But then they send it up to a person like you. They're like, I'm ready to open up for somebody who's major, somebody who's put in his 10,000 hours plus, and I'm ready to get on stage with that person. And you kind of have to tell them, just say, hey, my man or my sis or whatever it is, that's not the move right now. I mean, like, you got to pump them brakes, because the harsh reality of the matter is all I'm going to do for you is no favors whatsoever, because the moment you get up on that stage and you get booed, or the moment you get on that stage and them lights is way too bright and you realize, hey, you know what? I should have scaled back a little bit. Maybe I should have respected the game a little bit more.
And that's why, like, I feel so much for these people, because I don't want them to have moments like I've had where your sound is off on stage. And I was opening up for Prof, and fucking it was one of those 8 Mile moments. And I sold 100 tickets, and it's like, it's embarrassing, bro. And I want to save that embarrassment for you, you know? And so we might as well get this shit out of the way in the backdrop so you're not embarrassed. And that's the thing, man, is like, people, like, I have a tough time being brutally honest with my friends at times, because, like, I really value the relationship and I don't want to burn that bridge. And until people can really set their ego aside and, like, take positive criticism from people that love them, that genuinely want better for them, our world isn't going to be in a better place, especially creatively, because look at what's happened. Bro, mumble rap is taking main stage and I can't even understand what Future is saying. Timmy, you and I were talking about this. It's like, nobody, like, Drake is gassing Future up, and that's because the culture has gotten behind him, and no one's pulled Future aside and said, motherfucker, the majority can't understand what you're saying.
100 grand on a chip was rang on a thing of love.
Ooh, that's fire.
100 grand.
That's fire, bro.
But it was banging though. Hey, bro. Hey, but that song is banging though.
It's fire.
That song is banging. That doesn't mean that verse is hopping.
Hey, bro, man. You and I are going to be different in this one, because mumble rap has gotten to the point where that's all we know. And so, like, that verse, that song is booming, man. But I agree with you, though. I know where you're coming from.
It's not pushing wits, and it will not push the culture. It'll only hold us back.
But Future can do that, because he's Future. He's put in his 10,000 plus hours. He can do that.
Yeah.
Future can do that.
Unfortunately, he is a person of influence.
Correct. But people have to understand, Future got away with that years ago.
Mm-hmm.
There's a new wave. There's always a new wave. So these people now that are trying to emulate Future, I apologize to you right now. It's not going to happen, because people are kind of past that. If Future does it, we're going to boom with it. If somebody else does it, like even Drake now, you're hearing Drake biting off like a Roddy Ricch. You know, like, and people are saying that now. People are saying, like, Drake's been biting people's flows for all these years. But you know what? The thing with Drake is he adds a little spin to it. Some of these people want to be exactly, who's that one guy? Designer. He tried to be Future. I mean, the initial song with Kanye, it was cool. It was cool. But where's he at now?
He bend up.
It doesn't work that way.
Bend up. Okay, so this is how we're gonna close it out.
Talk to me.
Loups, you have to come sit in a culturally appropriate
What?
Indian style in front of the middle camera,
Front of the middle?
and you have to give us your 5 greatest inventions.
5 greatest inventions of any kind.
Look at the camera, Dad.
Okay. What's up, y'all? Hello, world.
There he is.
5 greatest inventions.
Number 5.
Number 5. I want to say the wheel.
Ooh.
The wheel's a good one.
Yeah.
We've
Wheel's a
never
good
had
one.
that one.
That's a first.
That's weird. Like, the wheel is a good one.
The wheel got us here.
The real guy. Yeah, that's wow. That's well done. You are Asian.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you can tell.
Yeah, so you're smart. I mean,
So there's the wheel.
Number 4.
I would say, I would say the internet.
ooh.
Internet's a good one.
Yep.
I don't know who invented that though.
Probably an Asian.
What the hell?
I'm sorry.
Is that racist?
I'm sorry.
It also got
moderator?
us here.
We could say the first smartphone.
Ooh.
I'm just going off top of my head. There's probably way better things out there.
No, this is a good list.
There's that. There's
Number 2.
There's we can say the TV
Ooh.
because I'm looking at one right now.
Oh,
It's a TV.
this is good.
I feel like we could reverse his 5 to 2, and you could almost be.
Wait,
better.
is it like from rankings? Because I don't.
You started off hot, but
Okay.
this is good though.
TV is
We
pretty
didn't
cool.
warn you about this.
fizzing out a little bit? I'm not gonna
All
lie.
right. Okay.
And number 1.
Wait, I thought we were at 2.
No, the
We
TV
just
was
did
You,
too.
you just said the TV was 2.
Oh, that's trash. Damn. What can top the TV and the internet?
The wheel.
The wheel.
But you already
The
said
wheel.
that.
In the BlackBerry, what could possibly?
What could beat the BlackBerry?
He skipped over like the iPhone 10x.
Yeah.
He went to the freaking
First one.
The first one.
Because-
the BlackBerry with the rolling pearl ball in the
He
middle.
specifically said the first one, bro. You could
Yeah.
have said the most recent.
Here's my reason. It's evolution because to have advancement, you need a beginning. Yeah. See, I'm not stupid. Yeah.
We know that.
Such a thinker. Yeah, Captain
Number 1 is a
Obvious.
hard one. I don't know. Yeah. Well, we could say like
Talking to the microphone.
we're trying to think of number 1. Ooh.
Uh-oh.
Twerking.
Twerk.
I would have thought you said music easily.
I think I would say music. Yeah, I don't know. There's not a singular inventor, but an invention of many things because music does so much to an ambience and a mood.
Yeah,
it's a weird mystical thing. So, redemption,
shake you,
music,
watch yourself.
Yeah,
I heard mystical. I heard mystical, and I started thinking music.
Shake it fast.
Watch yourself.
Shake it fast.
Show me what you're working with.
Attention, all your players and pimps. Right now is the place to be.
Shake it fast.
I thought I told you.
Niggas before.
Yeah.
Camp with me.
That's safe for no
Small boutique, no sir, cause they don't pass.
Feel you got the biggest one.
Mama gonna shake that ass.
Shake your ass.
Watch yourself.
Shake your ass.
Show me what you're working with.
All right. We love you guys. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Hookah, shaka, hookah, 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 shaka, hookah, hookah.